It felt like she came out of the womb, Bip. Like it was like, and it's a Bip. I wanted a girl.
Dear Shandy. Welcome back to another Dear Shandy Bachelor in Paradise recap, listeners. Hello, Andy.
Hello.
How are you today?
We're back.
You're back. You are in your famous red chair.
Oh, feels good to be back.
Do you think those people that we gave that red chair to ever kept it?
I think it may have been relegated to the attic.
Yeah.
It was funny for a bit, and they're like, oh, this chair actually sucks.
We weren't lying.
I don't think they ever read my note at the bottom of the chair.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like they would have said something about it.
Oh, yeah.
I feel
Andy
like my
actually
note went unread.
You know, I'm not even going to update people on what we're talking about. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
In which case, you're a longtime Shandy, and we appreciate you.
It's good Shandy Easter egg.
So, do we have any housekeeping before we get going?
Yes, we had a lovely time with
Dr. Kirk Honda, yes, and his lovely wife, Stacy. We actually posted about this on Instagram, but for any people who follow here on YouTube, I feel like they're actually the main people who would know who Dr. Kirk Honda is, aka Psychology in Seattle. So, shout out to them. It was awesome meeting them.
It was awesome. They came to the opera.
They came to the opera the next night.
And he was so into it.
He was. It was so sweet. Okay, anyway, they were lovely. And yeah, we had a great time.
Lovely. We'll see them again.
Overall, we had a great time in Seattle, period.
Yeah, we like Seattle.
We kind of fell in love with Seattle on this particular visit.
Yeah, we got lucky with the weather, so I think it's a little unfair. I've been told even by loyal Seattleites that wait till the winter and then tell me if you like it.
We've already been there in the winter for operas.
Well, we didn't like it then.
We didn't not like it. We just were like, how could you live in a place so wet and gray? And now we get it.
So could you live with those two cities? Could you live with the shitty city and the great city of Seattle? Could you do that year round?
I think I could live there for the warm months, and then I could live in New York for the winter months.
Oh, that's such a hack.
I know people might think that's crazy, but I'm really Canadian.
No,
I don't mind
totally
winter.
agree with that. Winter in New York is cool.
Yeah.
I think it gets a bad rap. I'm glad it does. Thank God there's winter in New York.
Yes.
Because could you imagine if New York had LA weather?
Oh.
You couldn't get a parking spot. You know, parking would be $8,000 a month.
I want winters to drive people away from the city. It's already overpopulated.
Every time they're like, oh, we're going to have a harsh winter this winter, I'm like, great, good, bring it on.
Okay, Andy, are you ready to get recapping episode 6?
Yeah.
Our first recap of this season at home.
Yeah, I am very ready. And I'm actually a little excited for this one because this was a good episode.
I would agree with you. I think this was the best episode of this season.
This was unquestionably
the best one so far.
The best, but it was decent.
Yeah. We have a few new intros. Obviously, I have to mention Sam P wearing the Canadian flag bikini.
Oh, tremendous.
Fantastic. And we forgot to give John Henry the appropriate love, how he just comes out in his underwater mask.
But
right?
and the confidence that shows, because his selling point is his face.
He does have a very nice face, and he's just like, whatever.
No, I don't need to show it.
But we have to talk about Kat shown eating her birthday cake with her hands. Yeah. So her hands go into an unadulterated birthday cake, and she eats it.
Virgin cake.
And I would wager that this is the cake she was actually given when people sang happy birthday to her. And people did point out in the comments last week, and they're definitely right about this, that we were never shown Kat putting the cake in the water. But what I find interesting is that they revealed this themselves by showing this.
Yeah.
Because the cake shown in the water was a whole cake, and then they showed Kat eating the whole cake.
So basically what happened here is—
there were two cakes.
There were two cakes. So Kat is off the hook.
Yes.
She was falsely maligned for this. This is not— she had nothing to do with it. She did some bad things, but this was not one of them.
Yeah.
Production has now wasted two cakes.
Oh, that's a good point.
I mean, Kate got a couple bites in that shot. That's it. Kat, sorry, whatever. You get the point.
But I still feel like other people didn't get slices of cake.
But no one got cake. Everyone was the stapler guy. Everybody. Or there were three cakes. Maybe one was eaten. There was an eating cake. There was an ocean cake, and there was a destroying cake.
Oh, that reminds me of wedding cakes. How there's like the for show cake, and then the cake that they often actually slice to hand out to wedding guests. It's like a sheet pan cake.
You know what's amazing to me? I always think about this, but it's just, this is what I do. On this very beach was right at the epicenter of where the asteroid that destroyed the dinosaurs hit.
Oh, wow.
It's like right there. They actually would have been vaporized before it even came close to hitting the Earth because of the heat.
Yeah.
But it was right there. So just imagine, like 65 million years ago, a 1,000-foot tidal wave and like a vaporizing heat destroyed the entire landscape. And 65 million years later, there's a girl just digging her hands into a cake for an intro reel to a show about people having fun dating on this beach. It's truly amazing to think that happened, and to think that at the origin of all this, all those people on that beach, every atom in their body came from the center of an exploding star light years away.
Oh, Andy.
It's pretty amazing. It is.
It is amazing. It's honestly mind-bending.
How do we
can't
get
really
here?
process it. And I love you so much for knowing that.
Well,
and okay, this is gonna be a long recap
today.
today.
Yeah. Okay, and scene. Two cakes wasted, one cake questionable.
I think you're making a big assumption. We saw a cat walking off with a cake alone, presumably to shoot herself eating it for her intro.
Oh, good detective work. I forgot about that. You're right. So maybe no one got cake. There were 2 cakes.
I think there were 2 cakes and no one got cake.
No one had one slice of cake. Kate got 1 bite, or maybe 2. Maybe she had whatever. We're off to a good start.
We're home.
Yeah.
And jet-lagged, by the way.
Yeah,
that's my
still
disclaimer. Okay, so we pick up with Kat irritated. She's waiting for Tanner, and he's still sleeping. And we get a flashback of her destroying her piñata. And a Braden voiceover, Andy, you were really struck by this. He says, Tanner better look out if Kat gets his dick in her hands.
Okay, so clearly I have no issue with this being said.
No.
Like, I'm not offended by it. But
why is that allowed?
Consistency. Like, why can't we see, like, the majority of someone's ass with a bathing suit on?
Yeah.
Why can't we hear someone saying shit?
Yeah. And
which is literally something we all do.
Box jokes.
Box jokes. And somehow someone could say, talk about a girl having someone's dick in her hand, and that's not bleeped out. I find it strange. And I want to make it clear, I am clearly not offended by this. I'm offended by the inconsistency.
Yes, totally. And by the way, I do think this was Frankenbitten, which means I think that they went out of their way to get this.
Yeah, ABC was like, all right, you can have it. And they're like, go get that.
Tanner finally emerges, and he immediately asks to speak with Kat, and everyone, I think, grabs the proverbial popcorn. She says she's disappointed in how he immediately said yes. He didn't prioritize her feelings on her birthday. And now, Tanner, I gotta give him props. You know, we said that Kat had broken up with people before. Yeah. And Kylie had broken up with people before.
Oh, yeah.
You know who's also broken up with people before?
Tanner.
Oh, yes. Yes. This was professional.
I want to see the person who broke up with Tanner.
Oh.
I mean, that person's a legend. I mean, how do you break up with this guy?
He says when he came, he was super excited to meet her. They had a great first week. They had a great date. But at this point, he's conflicted. Sure, they have things in common, but they have very different personalities. He has a ton of fun with her. He loves her as a person. This is a really good BS sandwich.
It's tremendous.
He says in terms of what he's looking for in a wife, it's something different.
I mean, he's done this before. He's a pro.
She says, hey, she feels the same way. She wouldn't be able to trust him anyway. Kat, oh my God, she's she's unintentionally funny, unless she's playing a part.
I don't think anyone would have the confidence to play the part she's playing. I have to assume it's real. You'd have to have so much confidence.
If she's playing a part, I respect it.
No, if she's playing this part, like,
it's
I will bow down. Academy
yes.
Award. But I don't know if anyone would want them to be shown that way.
Like, it's so extreme. It feels like a parody. But in the moment, she doesn't blow up at him. But I mean, in her ITM and speaking to the women, she's just, it's so transparent.
Well, it's very like 13, 14, 15-year-old.
So Kat reports to the women and says a few too many times that it was entirely mutual. A highlight here is Kat saying, I walked away from him. He didn't walk away from me. And Jess is like, all right, glad we clarified that. Well, Jess is so in on it. Like, she gets...
I think most of the women, I think all the women are winkety wink. Yeah. And Kat's not in on the joke. And I find it so interesting.
Winkety wink.
It's you know what I mean?
I haven't heard that in a while.
But Kat is so in her head that she is completely unaware of the fact that, first of all, 1 million people in America saw what happened on the videotape. They know what happened.
Yeah.
And that everyone there is kind of almost mocking her, like, sure, Cat, whatever you say.
Yeah.
She's completely unawares. It's interesting.
It is interesting. She's a great villain.
She's great.
I often talk about like good villains versus bad villains. Like I don't like watching good people who just maybe aren't totally socially aware, like getting completely vilified. Cat is self-serving.
Yeah.
And it's so obvious. And it's just so fascinating watching someone make these choices over and over again. It's like, how did you think you were going to look?
You know what I think? And if I really want to break this down,
Yeah.
I think the Cat's so pretty that she's gotten away with a lot of BS in her life.
100%.
And if you don't learn your lesson and you keep being reinforced that that's okay, you're not going to stop. It's not her fault. Like her crowd has always been like, yes, Cat, that's great. We're down with that.
Well, we've compared her to Regina George before.
Yes.
She's like the queen bee of the high. It feels very high school.
Yeah, because she was never taught the lessons, but everyone was always like, I want to be Cat's friend, so I'm not going to say she's doing something wrong.
How interesting. And now she's in a setting where everyone is cast predominantly for their good looks.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's kind of like she's met her match. It's like a guy who's a star high school basketball player at a local high school.
Yeah.
And then he goes to the NBA and it's like, pff, you're a bench sitter.
The fact that he got into the NBA, though.
I mean, that is good. She did a great job.
I guess the fact that she's cast on the show means that she's made it.
Yeah, I guess. Everyone's proud of him.
I thought how Tanner handled this was pretty likable, frankly.
He did a great job.
Even when he reported back to the guys, he was just like, it didn't go great. Today's going to be a rough day.
No, Tanner's great. Tanner is a gentleman.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a classic gentleman.
Yeah, for his age.
Yeah.
I thought this was a great showing on his part, actually.
To be honest, I think the guys in Paradise are often walking on eggshells regarding their image.
Yes.
So they're often on their best behavior. And I actually think the women are a little more cavalier, yet it's still reversed.
Yeah.
Like if a guy does anything wrong, he gets vilified. And for a woman to do something wrong, she has to behave like Cat. To behave badly on her own account.
I think there's some truth in that. I think a great example is Will and Kylie.
Right.
Who came out looking worse there?
Right.
Will.
Right. Kylie did the same thing. She just did it a little more elegantly.
Partly because Will wasn't Olivia about how Kylie rejected him.
Right.
Okay. Anyway, we're really tangenty today.
It's too tangenty.
Okay. So I have to point out now we're shown at the bar Rachel ordering an iced coffee with almond milk and a little bit of sugar.
Ooh, well done. Good order.
In her honor. Look what I have going
exactly
today.
What that is.
Yes, exactly what this is. That's my order.
Bravo.
Yeah, I was like, ooh,
no, it's good.
I'm famous.
You did it. You're a Rachel.
Okay, Jess and Mercedes talk about her lacy bikini top. This is a great scene.
It's great.
Mercedes was like, ooh, that's so sexy because it matches your skin tone. And Andy, literally 2 minutes go by after that scene and Andy's like, were they talking about her boobs? You were so caught off guard by that exchange. Turns out she wants Blake to notice her sexy bikini, but he's too busy giving her space.
No, the thing she asked for.
Blake, meanwhile, says he and Jess had always agreed to be open in the beginning, but I gotta say he's very pragmatic about the situation. He's like, oh, she's interested in exploring, but there's just no one here for me.
Yeah.
So cute. Genevie.
Ooh.
She's so stunning.
She is.
She's so cool and smart. The second she opens her mouth, you're like, ugh.
Yeah, I feel like it's okay.
It's okay. You're one of the good ones. Like you're gonna up everything here.
It's just like you know that if she's on your team, you can be a little lazier than usual.
You know what? Thinking of high school, a school project. I want my assigned partner in that school project to be Genevie.
I want them to do it all.
No, I mean, not necessarily at all, because I'm also a control freak. But
but
Genevie, I feel like, is going to pull her weight, and the part that she does is going to be done as well as it can be done.
Exactly that person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, someone like Kat, you might end up doing the whole project, and maybe that's the way you want it because you want it to be done.
You know what Kat would do? She'd be like, "You're so smart. You know what? I'm going to go out tonight, have a great time. You're going to do this, and you're going to do an amazing job, and I'm going to be so proud of you." You're like, well, you are really pretty. All right.
That was such a good callback.
Oh, thanks. Athena Club is the party in your tub.
Is there more?
There is, but I'm not going to do it because you made me feel bad last time about singing a song instead of a jingle.
No, No, I want more. The longer the jingle, the better.
No, you know,
Keep
I'm just
going.
going to close it into a jingle.
Okay.
Athena Club is the party in your tub.
Wow. You just taught me something about jingles, Andy.
Yeah.
You have to
Jingle's
end
gotta be
back on
tight.
the...
Yeah.
We do love Athena Club, though.
Yeah.
We've long been talking about the sexy Athena Club razor.
I mean, there needs to be a saxophone playing when you pull that out.
Right. And not only do you get this weighty, it feels like quality.
It feels like it costs more than it actually costs.
Yes.
Which is, we have to talk about how not expensive this is.
Yeah, it's $10.
$10
and not
for this
only,
whole thing.
You get a spare serum-infused blade, and that has shea butter and hyaluronic acid in it. And my favorite part is the magnetic hook that you just stick into your shower, and then whoop, you just let it air dry.
Never gets rusty, never gets gross, and makes your shower look even better. And I would like to pull over this bad boy.
Yes, we have a new addition.
Now, I declare I will never use another scrub if it is not this one. It's the best scrub I've ever used. And I'm just, look, I have no dog in this race.
I mean, this is an
I'm
ad.
not a scrub. It is an ad, but
you
I'm
would
being
not
honest
say
here.
it if it weren't true. It's just the truth.
I'm not gonna stick my flag in a scrub hill unless it is a fine scrub. And I'm telling you, between the smell, the texture, the perfect graininess, it's delightful.
And the wipe clean.
You know, I knew it. I knew that Athena would do a scrub that's unbelievable.
Athena has perfected all the tub paraphernalia.
And if you want to party in your tub with a sexy ass scrub, then therein lies the rub. Not quite.
So if you're ready to upgrade your shaving experience, then switch over to the best razor on the market and show your skin you care with the Athena Club Razor Kit.
Head over to athenaclub.com and grab your razor kit today.
Or you can find Athena Club razors at your local Target.
Plus, with your purchase of a razor kit and blade subscription on their site,
you can try their Gentle Body Scrub for free with code DearShandy at checkout for a limited time only. Show that scrub, Andy. Just pick a plan for your razor kit, begin checkout, and add the code DearShandy before placing your order to automatically add a body scrub to your shipment. Trust me, you will not look back. Happy shaving.
Apostrophe is super easy and treats acne, chest knee, back knee, and butt knee.
You know, I think if butt knee, the word, had feelings, it would be so stoked to finally be featured in a song.
Oh, yeah.
So Apostrophe, one of our earliest sponsors, that says something about the longevity of how long we've been using it and how much we like it, is a wonderful platform that connects you with board-certified dermatologists so you can get prescription skincare that might treat chest knee, back knee, and butt knee. And also, as Andy, you call it, face knee. And that medication is delivered directly to your door, so you never have to leave your house. You don't have to go to the dermatologist. You don't have to go to the pharmacy to get this prescription. You fill out their online consultation where you take selfies of your skin, and then you type out what your skincare concerns are, and then a board-certified dermatologist will review your information and then prescribe you medication if they feel you need it. And this is, by the way, is both topical and oral.
It's very simple. If you want to spend less time and less money doing something you have to do, then Apostrophe's for you.
Yeah, and let's say you're not the type who thinks you have to do this, because, you know, not everyone uses prescription skincare. This is the best way to get over that hump of having access to that kind of skincare, which really, I mean, that's upping your game. Like, everyone knows, I've been talking for years. I feel like everyone's like, okay, we get it. You use prescription tretinoin, but truly Apostrophe's prescription tretinoin with niacinamide is a game changer. And I could not buy that in a store if I wanted to. I can only get that as a prescription.
I love that niacinamide.
You really do. It's good for the pores. Yeah. So we have a very special deal for our audience, the Shandies. Right now, you can get your first visit with an Apostrophe provider for only $5 when you go to apostrophe.com/Shandy and enter promo code Shandy at sign up. That is a savings of $15, and this offer is only available to our listeners.
To get started, just go to apostrophe.com/Shandy and click Get Started.
Then use our code Shandy at sign up and you'll get your first visit for only $5. And we thank Apostrophe for sponsoring this episode. So Genevie chats with Tyler first, and Mercedes is shown seeming a bit nervous, but it's really cute in her ITM. Mercedes says it would be easier if she didn't like Genevie so much.
Oh, you can't
she's
not
so
like
cool.
Genevie.
Yeah. So now Genevie chats with Blake. He's pretty honest about the Jess business, like a little too honest almost, but they vibe really well together.
Such a vibe.
I did use the word vibe. And there's lots of speculation, but it's obvious she's going to choose him. Yep. And she does. He says yes. And he immediately talks to Jess now. It's funny. He says, you want to go first? And she's like, you want me to go first? You just said yes to going on the date.
Exactly the right response.
Everything they say and do with each other, I'm just so into.
Yeah, even though they feel like adults.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't know that she's 24.
No, she's
well ahead. I maligned her last week, but it was only because I was upset about the Blake situation.
Oh, that's
right. I was like, she's
her.
Showing her age. But I actually think Jess, she could easily be 10 years older based on how she behaves, especially in this setting where she's one of the younger ones, I think you could say. Yep. Blake is pretty honest here. He says that he appreciates Genevie is interested in him and wanting him. And Jess feels very guilty about this. She says she doesn't want him to not feel wanted. He also says it'll be good for Jess. I will admit this part, it's like it did it for me. Yeah. He's like, it'll be good for you. Without me around, you can really explore your
Did you fall
options.
deeper in love with Blake?
Yes. It showed such maturity beyond his years. And also like, I don't know, it was a little hot.
I feel like in the past, we've obviously gone for people in the show and, we make light of that. But I actually feel like if we meet Blake in person, I'm a little worried.
You don't need to be worried, Andy.
That's what they all say.
Jess admits it's not fair for her to want to explore her options and not want him to do the same. And this ends very maturely.
Yeah, amicably and adult.
Yes. In her ITM, she says she didn't think he would say yes.
Yeah.
To the date. I love how self-aware she is.
Yeah, and honest about what she's feeling. You know what Jess never does? Never
blames.
Resorts to anger first. It's never her first emotion. It's never her second. She doesn't do anger. She may get angry. I'm sure she does. Yeah. But she gets angry about things that you should get angry about.
Yes. She's very reflective. Like, I think Kat, for example, would be like, he said yes, he did this, that asshole, it's my birthday, blah, blah. And Jess is honestly like, I didn't think he would say yes.
I think Jess has true confidence that she's able to just say the things she's thinking.
Yeah.
And not cover it up with insecurity. I'm very impressed.
Yeah, same. She doesn't play the blame game and she takes responsibility for getting herself in this situation, basically.
And honestly, I don't blame her for that whole speech she gave Blake about how she's unsure and, last episode. Yeah. Because she was just speaking what any normal person on this beach would kind of be feeling at that moment. Like, this is a little weird. This is going fast. Like, there's all these other hot guys around. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, this is a little strange.
I maintain I wish she had been a little more just brutally direct. I mean, she was honest, but not.
She was too ambiguous.
Yes.
It wasn't clear what her messaging was.
And you can do a lot of damage with ambiguity in a relationship.
That's just she's on TV.
It's
a crazy situation.
Okay.
I don't blame her fully for that. But anyway, the point is she dealt with it well as an adult.
Yes. Okay, so moving on, Brayden is shown eating raspberries off his fingers.
I've never known this to be a thing, but again, Brayden's on top of it. I mean, that's a good way to eat raspberries if you're not worried about what's on your fingertips, which is what I would be. But, I'm a little weird.
I recall doing that when I was probably around 7 years old.
Oh, really? That's the thing?
I think when you're little, they fit like little hats on your fingers.
You're
it's
right.
Cute.
I mean, it seems obvious. I'm giving Brayden a little too much credit.
I mean, what other berry can you do that with?
You're absolutely right. Blackberry this hole is too small. Actually, I don't even think there is a hole.
No, there isn't a hole.
You're right. Raspberries are the only berry. They're shaped like a parachute, basically. There's a full hole underneath.
Yeah. We're given a refresher now on how great Olivia and John Henry are together. So, of course, cue a conversation between Kat and Kylie and Mercedes about how hot Kat thinks John Henry is.
Yep. I mean, this is never people just... Oof.
She is convinced because he has a tongue piercing, he knows what to do with his tongue, unlike Tanner, who only gives her pecs.
Oh, Tanner. He's got to get a tongue piercing. Loser.
Kylie tells Kat to make her move on John Henry, which I thought was interesting because it gives us a glimpse into the friend cliques.
Yeah.
Clearly for Kylie to say this, I assume she's not really close with Olivia.
You got to assume.
Okay.
Or she's just, she's Switzerland.
Kylie does a very high school move here. She says to John Henry, are you interested in talking to my friend Kat? So much of this is high school.
So high school.
And Kat's like, Kylie, stop it. How high school was
all
this?
High school.
And now there's a hilarious montage of Brayden narrating Kat's homie hopping. Kat asks what he likes about Olivia. And he says, she's real. He likes how she says what she thinks. And Kat's like, I feel like a lot of girls here are like that, though.
Not wrong.
Okay, Olivia is understandably miffed by what is obviously happening right before her eyes. And now we hear a conversation between Kat and Eliza, I suppose in a bathroom or I don't know.
No, it's a ladies' room.
Ladies' room, sure. Thank you. Where Kat warns Eliza about what Charity had told her, which was that Aaron was with his ex-girlfriend right before coming on the show. I love how she's like, Charity's my best friend. It's funny to me how many people are best friends with the Bachelorette when they were on the season with them.
Totally. Always best friends.
All of a sudden, they're all her best friend. Always. Eliza runs this past Olivia. So again, another glimpse of friend groups here. Olivia thinks Kat's just trying to create chaos because she's insecure. She does a fantastic impression of Kat playing with her hair, saying, John Henry, your job is so interesting, so dangerous. This was so well done.
It was.
A lot of people have been pointing out the hair playing thing. And it got me thinking, I once read when I was probably around in high school, it was in a Cosmo magazine.
That when you play with your hair, you like the guy you're talking to.
No, that when you play with your hair, a guy is like into you. Like he's like turned on by you playing with your hair. It's like a flirting thing.
I think it's a loop. Because I think when someone's playing with their hair, they're nervous.
Yeah.
Which usually means, unless they're like creeped out by somebody hardcore, they're into them.
Okay.
So
let's hear a guy's perspective though. Do you, when you see a girl playing with her hair, are you like, oh, that's cute?
No, I don't necessarily think it's cute. I just know that girl is probably into me.
Oh my God. So what Cosmo told me when I was like 15 was that by playing with your hair, that like makes you cuter.
No, interestingly, they're right, sort of. Okay. Which is probably usually what Cosmo is. That should be their tagline. Cosmo, right, sort of. So what's happening is it's not that you are becoming cuter.
Yeah.
It's that it's playing off guys' insecurities about being liked or not.
Yeah.
So when a girl, I'm assuming this is high school, so people are girls and boys. I'm not going to do this thing with, it's just girls and boys for this particular example. But a girl is playing with her hair. That I'm like, oh, she's nervous. She likes me. I can relax. That makes me feel that she's more attractive once I can get her.
Oh.
She's gettable now. She's in the palm of my hand.
Oh, interesting.
So it doesn't make you more attractive. It makes you less not gettable, which thus, in a guy's mind, makes you more attractive because he thinks he can get you.
Yeah, it shows a vulnerability.
Yes.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, it takes the walls down.
Everything about Kat is high school.
Everything. And I will still hold the kernel of hope, I guess, that this is all an act. And if this is all an act on her part, she is a genius.
Yeah. Okay. There's a funny scene now where John Henry breaks open a coconut, which I guess turns out to be rotten. And Kat talks about he supposedly has a vibrating version of his tongue ring.
This is what I'm going to say about tongue rings. I hate to say it, but it's true. If you get a tongue ring, you're good in bed. That doesn't mean you have to get a tongue ring to be good in bed.
Okay.
In my experience, anyone with any sort of tongue piercing is really just...
You know this from experience.
Yeah. It's
I think it says something about your personality. And
I think you're very adventurous physically, and you're very oral. And, it's off. It's not, I'm not this is not a crazy theory.
I will agree with you despite not having experienced it.
All right.
Okay. There's a cute interaction between Rachel and Brayden, but it's short-lived because cue Becca. Dun, dun, dun. Very funny sepia tone. This is what sepia tone flashbacks are for. They're like, no one knows who she is. And so they show a flashback of her in line for a drink on night one on Zach's season, or hidden behind some other girl, and they have arrows pointing to her.
Pretty funny,
this was great.
That.
This was really well done. This whole episode was A-team editing.
This was a good episode of TV, and this was a good episode of TV outside of the Bachelor in Paradise situation. Like if this was a one-off, like they're like now on, CBS, we're going to have this episode of people on the beach trying to bang each other. I'm like, that's a good TV.
It felt like the instructor, the editing instructor, he's been like training people. There was with episode 1, which was good. He was like, okay, I'm demonstrating how to edit this show. Yeah. Okay, now you go. Episode 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like, okay, but I'm going to correct you with all episode 6. I'm going to show you how it's done.
It actually reminded me of a scene from this movie Blackberry I just saw. It was a very good movie about the actual Blackberry.
Oh, yeah,
the phone.
Yeah.
It was great.
You saw it on the
movie.
plane.
On the plane.
Yeah.
One of the best. I've been on a good streak, by the way. I've seen, like, in my last 4 plane trips, I've seen 4 good movies. That is unheard of.
Oh, but it also says something about how often you watch movies.
I don't go to the movie theater anymore. That's why. You're right.
That's so
I never go to the
sad.
movies anymore.
We should go.
I used to love going to the movies.
We should all go to the movies more. Otherwise, they're not going to be around much longer.
Yeah, everyone. All right, this is the thing. We're all going to the movies this week.
Before the end of 2023, let's all commit to going to at least one movie at a movie theater.
All right.
I love that. Let's all do that together.
Yeah.
And we can share what we saw with each other.
But getting back to my original tangent is in the movie Blackberry, they're all just sitting around, these programmers and coders or just like developers. They're just playing video games. They're having movie night. They're all just joking around, just playing games. And this guy finally comes in from another company. This really straight-laced corporate guy comes in and he's like, what the hell's going on here? What is this? Get this shit together. And he just snaps them all together and like puts the fear of God in them. And suddenly BlackBerry is born. Otherwise, it never would have happened. That company never would have been anything.
Wait, how did you get onto that again? What was the comparison?
Because I believe that these like Bachelor in Paradise producers were just sitting around like, it's just like that. And then somebody came in. They're like, what the hell's going on here? This is a respectable show.
That's true. He's the A team editor. He's like, let me just all refresh you on how it's done. I'll do episode 6.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Oof, that was maybe too much tangent for what that was worth, but I still don't regret it.
So Becca chats first with John Henry, but the main conversation of interest here is with Braden. Very cute.
Oh.
Like surprisingly cute, if I'm honest.
Oh, yeah.
She liked that he was the first to stand and hug him and make her feel welcomed. I do like that about Braden, that he's like that.
Yes.
But I also like that she noticed this. There's something pure about this conversation, and I guess it was one of the few like this that we've been shown more or less in its entirety, it seemed. Not in its entirety, but we saw an actual, like, I do this, and like, oh yeah, I like this. It just felt like a getting to know you conversation.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I'm not taking anything away from Becca. Every time Braden does things, generally speaking, it feels good.
Are you twisting this into an I told you so?
People are starting to hate me now because I love Braden too much. I got to tone it down.
Isn't that funny that you could be hated for liking someone too much?
Yeah, it's weird. You can be hated for, I've learned from having a podcast, you could be hated for literally everything. You know what it's like? It reminds you of, that thing where you're like, if you think of something, anything, just think of the weirdest thing you can think of.
Yeah.
It's either happened or it's going to happen. Like a clown standing on a mailbox taking a dump.
Yeah.
Like that's happened or will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like with the internet now, like if you, particularly if you have a podcast, if you're out there, I think if you can think of something you could be hated for, you will be hated for that, or you have already been hated for that.
And the people will write you directly to tell you about it.
That's right.
Too.
Hate has become the go-to emotion on the internet.
Yeah.
Whereas in the early days, like the very early days, it was like, oh my God, I love that thing that's on the screen. I love that too. Like everyone's like, yeah, we all love this.
Yeah, it was about connection. And now it's just about what's different between us. And that the thing that's different, like the thing that I disagree with you on, now makes me not like you.
It shows that humans, like, unfortunately, en masse, real mass, they really kind of enjoy hating things more than they enjoy loving things. And I can't say that that's not true of myself too.
Yeah.
Like I bond with people over hating things. I just don't go on the internet talking about it. That's the difference.
I mean, you're right. Having a podcast has taught me that I will be hated more for not hating someone that they hate.
Yes.
Than I am for liking someone that they don't like. Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I find it so fascinating that the collective hatred of something has become so powerful that if people aren't in on that circle of hate, then they are hated.
Yes.
And then they therefore are like, I want to not be hated, so I'm going to get in on the hate.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
Oh, man. Okay.
Pretty crazy. But in the end, I like Braden, so deal with it.
Well, now everyone likes him, so...
Yeah, everyone likes him.
Yeah.
Well, except the people who say they don't like him. Once in a while, someone...
Becca gives a speech about who she's taking on the date. Andy, you called Becca Bachelor in Paradise AI.
100%. What's not AI about her?
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's too AI. She went too far. It's too much AI.
Yeah, she's very, like she says, she's like, I have this date card. And like, she's wearing her floral dress and she's beautiful. It's just like something about her was just like too perfect.
Yeah, everything was on point. It felt like she came out of the womb, Bip. Like it was like, and it's a Bip. I wanted a girl.
Okay, so she asks Brayden on the date, and he says yes and asks to speak with Rachel. And Rachel takes this unbelievably well. Andy, you were blown away by how well she took this.
I am so impressed with Rachel. Now.
Well, you said she's going to gradually melt down. That's not the Rachel I know.
I mean, I feel like she's in the oven now. She's in the oven. It's been preheated to 400, and she's now at like 175.
I will say I was pleased with how Rachel handled this
so far,
throughout the whole episode.
so good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Because I will say, out of people who, like, I think people have had bigger reactions to lesser betrayals.
Yes.
Only because I totally bought what they were selling. Like, I loved her and Brayden together, and their date was the day before.
As of this moment, Rachel has acquitted herself for me. Like,
Yes.
I'm into Rachel so far. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Okay, there's a funny shot of Tanner and Davia walking down the beach, and I swear the editors are, the head editor is in on this.
Oh, yeah.
He manages to include another clip of Tanner talking about Davia's eyes.
I mean, the guy likes eyes.
He loves two
really
different
loves
colored
them.
eyes.
Yeah, he's the eye collector. Ooh, that sounds like a bad movie. What's the tagline for that movie?
Ooh.
It might be the last thing you ever see.
Oh, Andy.
Oh, that's horrible. Earth Breeze to the rescue, making your clothes feel fresh and new.
I love it when you start a little too high, but you commit, Andy. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Earth Breeze really is to the rescue in more ways than one. Earth Breeze is known for their eco sheets, which basically look like pieces of paper, but they're actually laundry detergent. And actually, I just heard ours end over there.
Oh, yeah, that's exciting.
We are in a rental in Seattle that has laundry in the unit. And let me tell you, nothing beats just throwing a little tiny feather light piece, not piece of paper, but it looks like a piece of paper into your wash. And think about the difference in terms of water for a moment. When you go and buy a big jug of laundry detergent, it's 90+% water.
Imagine how much fuel it takes a truck laden with heavy jugs of laundry detergent to drive anywhere.
Totally.
You know what? It's getting to the point where if you're still using a jug of laundry detergent with the alternative of Earth Breeze being available, you're a dick.
Because Earth Breeze Eco Sheets work every bit as well as any laundry detergent. It's safe for sensitive skin. We've tested this on
100%. It's I won't let you use anything else.
It's dermatologist tested, and the packaging is lightweight, biodegradable, and plastic free.
And it's delivered right to your door via free carbon neutral shipping.
Crucially, at a frequency that suits your lifestyle. I think that this is such a cool detail because a lot of subscriptions, you're kind of like, this is either too much or too little. Like, I don't need that much laundry detergent, or I need more than this. They understand that a family of, say, 6 is going to need a delivery more frequently than, say, us. And so you can adjust that in your subscription so that you never have to go physically and buy laundry detergent again, and you feel good about it. This is so much better for the planet. Did you know that 91% of those huge jugs end up in landfill?
No, I know. I've said it like 100 times.
Well, it doesn't get old. That bothers me every single time we do an ad for Earth Breeze. Like, it bothers me that this is still the main way people get their laundry detergent.
Every time we do this ad, I envision a cartoon-esque pyramid of empty laundry detergent bottles, just to the sky, with seagulls and like flies buzzing around it.
Totally.
So don't be a dick. Switch from the old-fashioned goo to something new.
Right now, our listeners, the Shandys, can subscribe to Earth Breeze and save a whopping 40%.
Go to earthbreeze.com/Shandy to get started.
That's earthbreeze.com/Shandy for 40% off. earthbreeze.com/Shandy. So Genevie and Blake are on their date. They go kayaking, and while strapping each other into life vests, Blake in his ITM says that Genevie makes him feel calm and grounded.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Oh, I liked that.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the specificity?
Yeah, okay.
It's not just, she's
Go
hot.
ahead. Talk about Blake.
They paddle out and sit facing each other and talk. I thought this was really cute. The body language here.
Oh, very cute.
Yeah. There's something about being out in kayaks together and just being like, okay, we're just going to float and talk to each other.
There was palpable romance happening here. Like, I felt it. It wasn't just like one of these, like, you knew when that kiss came, which you knew once you're like sitting with your legs spread, facing each other, touching each other's legs, there's a kiss coming. It's never in history not happened.
I mean, I feel like on this show, there's always a kiss coming, whether or not you touch each other at all.
I agree. It's always coming. But in this case, you were like, almost like, when's that kiss coming? Come on, let's get the kiss.
Yeah.
Like it was so obvious that a kiss
but
should
you know
happen.
what? They both respected buildup.
Yes, that's my point. It's
yes.
like I felt the romance. I was like, I'm into this. This is romantic.
Yeah.
This is getting me heated up.
And the fact that, you know, they can't be mic'd out on the water, right? So we didn't actually hear the conversation when they were out there.
Yeah.
It added to the mystique of it all.
Yes.
I'm like, I can't hear what they're saying, but I know it's good.
Did you feel jealous a little bit?
No, Andy, stop.
Oh.
Okay. Andy, you said that Genevie has a classiness about her.
I mean, pure class. She
Yeah.
just, the way she operates, it's just like she doesn't miss a beat.
Yeah.
She's just like
Good banter too.
seemingly a fine human. As of now, I don't know
Yeah.
that much.
No.
So far, fine human.
Genevie is too smart to reveal some other side.
I
Even
think you're
if
right.
she is actually not a
Yes.
fine human, she's too smart to
You're
show
right.
it.
Even if she sucks, you'll never see that side.
Yeah. Okay, back at the beach, Jess and Tyler are laying on a daybed chatting. He says he wants to see where her head is at, and you can tell they know they're doing something wrong because they're both like, they're looking around a lot.
Yeah.
This was pretty scandalous, I gotta say. There's a solid back and forth montage with the most Love is Blind soundtrack we've heard yet, but even this song was better than something on Love is
Absolutely.
Blind.
This is like, if we heard this song on Love is Blind, we'd be like, oh,
We'd be like, oh, that's one of the good ones.
yeah, it's a good song.
It's kind of a hot montage.
Oh, yeah.
In its scandal.
You realize that the thing is, it's such a waste. You have all these unbelievably hot people on a beach, just all they want to do is bang. That's it. That's all they're interested in. And it's wasted because you don't milk what you could make this so hot that you couldn't handle it. People almost couldn't watch it, which means everyone would watch it.
Yeah.
But they don't. I'm not saying the producers have full control over these humans.
Because it has a holier than thou element to it.
Yeah, and it's also so rote. It's just like, oh, I'm going to try to get a rose. So here we go. Let's talk. Then let's have this forced kiss and then blah, 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 and then make jokes.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. This build, if they could do this with everybody, this show would be a monster hit. And I feel that way about all dating shows. The dating shows that are the best are the slow burns.
The Jess and Tyler thing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we saw in the previews that would happen. I kind of wish they hadn't previewed this because this would have been more of a shock. First of all, they have surprising chemistry, can I just say? And also, this was a very, it felt wrong. It felt like they were coworkers and they're not supposed to be doing this. Like one of them's married or something. She's good friends with Mercedes.
Oh, trust me. This is the TV we want to see.
Are we sick?
No. You know what this is? This is old-fashioned character building, character development.
Yes.
Like in a movie, you know these action movies where it's like, it's a typical like Rotten Tomatoes 50% action movie where it's like everything blows up. You see all these people getting killed and you don't care at all. As a matter of fact, you sometimes root for some of the main characters to get killed because they're so annoying.
Yeah.
But
or you don't know them. They're just
you just don't know them. You just don't care.
Yeah, yeah.
But when you know them, I know Jess.
Yes.
I know, well, you know Blake really well. But you care. And when things like this happen, you care. When something like this happens to Sean, you don't care.
Yeah. Who's
When
Sean? Oh, Sean.
Exactly. That should have been his tagline the whole show. Who's Sean?
It's the jet lag. I blame the jet lag. So now Becca and Brayden go on their date. It's a tantric thing.
Oh, this is
tantric food thing.
This is a setup.
The host brings oysters. They feed each other. Oysters. It's always oysters.
Always. I don't understand oysters.
How do we know if oysters are an aphrodisiac?
I think this is like a myth. I don't buy it.
How is that? How
oysters,
can you gauge something like that?
They're slippery, and I get that an oyster has the same kind of potential consistency as something else. But I think that it's BS. I actually think that the texture maybe, but really when you think about it, it's kind of fishy. It leaves not a great, your breath, oyster breath. If someone said you have three choices, oyster, candy, or
candy wouldn't be good either.
Oh, was it
like
so
the
much
sugar? Yeah, the aftermath of candy.
Oh, you're right. The sugar,
good.
the bacteria sugar.
Yeah.
So what do you want? What do you want somebody mint? Obviously anything mint. Mint leaves.
Damn, that's pretty limited, Andy.
Yeah, that's it. Either mint leaves or home.
As Becca wipes Brayden's sweat off his face, she says that he looks like a young Johnny Depp. They make out. Look, I don't want to ship this because I love Brayden and Rachel together, but these two have chemistry.
I don't want to ship it. You're right, but I do ship it. It's being shipped.
Meanwhile, Kat in her ITM says she plans on stirring the pot that evening and making out with John Henry. So John Henry and Tanner chat. John Henry is saying that he's seeing this friendly side of Kat. That's a first. She's normally unapproachable. And now there is a lot of Kat and John Henry flirting, mainly her flirting with him, but John Henry seems interested.
Yeah.
He's not shunning her.
He ain't.
She says he's easy to talk to, and he doesn't reply. Meanwhile, Olivia is talking a lot of shit about Kat. I think kind of understandably.
Yeah, sure.
Mainly, I think it's something about the way Kat's going about this. I would almost respect it more if Kat were just like, Olivia, by the way, I'm interested in John Henry. I'm just letting you know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think it's Olivia's duty to talk shit about Kat right now.
Yes, agreed. Olivia interrupts the two of them on a daybed. And John Henry, I gotta say, is visibly like, ugh. But then he and Olivia chat. He says that she's his priority. He just feels he owes it to himself to explore. And she says she understands she's just having a hard time with this. He's charmed by her vulnerability here, and they make out. But not before he says, is that lit plumper?
Oh, we love John Henry.
Andy, you said, I still think he wants to explore Kat.
He does.
Yeah. And we kind of saw that in the previews. But you know what's funny is I think he's tempted by Kat in a siren kind of way.
Yes.
But he really likes Olivia. And you can see just this short little exchange, how much more organic their conversation is than all of the conversations he's shown having with Kat.
Yeah.
It feels so stilted.
His mind is with Olivia. His the other stuff is with Kat.
His other stuff. We get caught up on Aaron B and Eliza now, and Aaron is saying that they can go the distance. So, of course, cues suspense music of Eliza running this new intel about his ex-girlfriend, whatever, past Wells.
I feel like Wells is like that guy who's been in the war for like so much longer than all the new guys coming in.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting there with like 10,000 yard stare. He's just like,
he does have more of a 10,000 yard stare than in previous seasons.
Yeah, I feel like he's just like, I've been here a long time.
This is the first season where I'm like, I don't know how much longer Wells is going to do this.
But not because of production. I think because of Wells. I think Wells is getting to the point where he's like, I think I've done enough.
Oh, 100. I think he's over it.
I think he might be over it.
Yeah, and I respect that.
And I respect if he's not over it. Either way, I respect what he's doing.
Totally.
Yeah, but just appreciate him while he lasts.
Eliza confronts Aaron B now. She lays it all out there about what she heard from Kat, who heard it from Charity, and AB explains, and I gotta say, he's not a great explainer because he's one of those people who I think just gives too much information.
Too much.
And he actually thickens the plot unnecessarily.
This should have been a less is more explanation.
100%.
The less, the better.
Yeah, he's talking about an ex and she thinks that he broke up with her to go on the show, but no, that's not true. They broke up in August. Actually, he was seeing someone else since.
Yeah, that was it was like, actually, I didn't do one wrong thing. I did two wrong things, which makes it 0.
Eliza's like, okay.
Yeah.
And she's like, I can't keep there were a lot of months being dropped. And she was like, I couldn't follow.
She had the exact right reaction to that. Because
this made me like her
I was
more.
like, is Eliza going to follow this? And she's like, I'm not following. I'm like, oh, good. I feel better about myself as I didn't follow it.
Because I wasn't following it either. And I was like, I'm pretty sure he's doing a bad job of this.
He's doing, you know what's interesting about this is I actually think that if I was a judge, just completely based on pure hearsay and just seeing the situation, I think that he might be veering towards innocent. I don't think he's necessarily guilty.
Oh, I agree.
Of what happened
but
here. I think he's actually been wronged. And I think that he just screwed himself by explaining it so badly.
Yes.
Which is why words matter so much.
Yes.
Especially when you're being accused of something.
Yeah, he seemed guiltier than I think he actually is. He provided too much information. Eliza in her ITM says she's confused. She thought it was just one ex. Turns out there was more than one ex. And the only person...
It's like, I also did run over that chipmunk and I didn't see him. I may have seen him. But I just couldn't be bothered. They run. You never know which direction they're going. You can't time it.
Don't joke about running over chipmunks.
No, it's wrong.
They're so cute.
I've almost gone into accidents. As a matter of fact, the one major car accident I got into, this is not a joke. I was swerving to get around a possum or an opossum. Is it a possum or a possum?
It's a possum.
Either it was a possum or a possum that I swerved around and hit a tree.
Oh, Andy, I never knew that.
Yeah, I also once I was driving a U-Haul. I was moving a lot of stuff, and I ran over a squirrel. I'll admit it right here. There's nothing I can do about it.
No, stop being Aaron B. You don't need to reveal this.
Oh my God, I'm being Aaron B. Oh my God.
That's awful.
But unlike Aaron B, I can cut this out.
But we're not laughing about the dead squirrel. That's very sad.
I actually felt bad about it. I still, to this day, this was like 15 years ago, I still feel bad about it. I'm not kidding.
And that car crash where you avoided the possum.
I saved a possum and I killed a squirrel.
You almost died. It was a very serious car crash.
It was a miracle I didn't die.
Yeah. Okay. So the possum lived?
The possum probably lived. I was unconscious, so I don't know. Okay. But the squirrel definitely died.
You didn't follow up on the possum's condition?
No. But he's okay, I think. He's dead, but of old age.
Okay. So Eliza says the only person who could clear things up for her is Charity. If only Charity were here. So cute, Charity. She looks radiant as always. Lots of buildup around the Aaron B rumors here. And even Charity's entrance music. Normally we would get something more.
It's like dun, 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 dun.
It's all suspenseful. Yeah. Charity is met with the usual former Bachelorette adoration from the group, especially the women. And she pulls the ladies to chat. There's an amazing scene here where Kat... where it was like Charity's like, oh, like some of you are dating guys for my season. And Kat's like, yes, I've been talking to John Henry and blah, blah, blah. I like him. Great. He does this, blah, blah, blah.
This made me feel, and I go back and forth on this. This made me feel like maybe Kat is doing this as an act.
It's too good to be true.
It's almost too good to be true.
Yeah.
Like I'm starting to think that she may have cracked here. This may have been the tell.
She went too far.
Yeah.
To me, this was too good to be true.
Too good to be true.
She's acting. I'm giving her too much
in this
credit.
case, maybe we're leaning towards Kat being a genius.
Comedic genius. And Olivia, I think, has no choice but to assert herself here and be like, well, John Henry just told me I'm his number one. Kat's really met her match in Olivia, actually. Because Olivia is not non-confrontational.
Oh, I think she enjoys confrontation.
Eliza asks to speak with Charity privately now. Meanwhile, Aaron B is offered shots at the bar. I respect his response. Yeah. He was like, no, I need to stay clear-headed.
I like that.
He's really spiraling over there. He confronts Kat on the beach, meanwhile, about Kat warning Eliza. I mean, this was sort of pointless. What's Kat going to say? Like, Kat's like, I was looking out for my girl. I actually doubt that she really sees Eliza as her girl, honestly. Yeah. I do think she is a chaos creator, but I don't think that this was something AB needed to do. Anyway, lots of buildup here, and then that is what we wrap with. I've got to say, in terms of cliffhangers, I think the powers that be are slightly overestimating how much we care about this.
I think you're right. Part of me, the cynical part, thinks that they were like, we've got Charity here. Cost us whatever, 30, 40 grand.
I have a feeling that they're at the point where it might be built into her contract.
Oh.
Like within the year, you have to, if we want you to appear on Paradise, you have to appear.
Really? Oh, wow.
I just feel like, why wouldn't they do that? No one who's like on the verge of signing a contract to be Bachelorette is going to be like, well, actually, no.
Interesting. You're probably right.
Meanwhile, Trista Sutter, she's not under contract anymore. Yeah.
Okay, but either way, they clearly want to get their money's worth for Charity, which sounds a little
with Charity.
Weird.
With
Charity. I just realized that sounds weird. But they said, we don't have anything. Charity's just going to pull like a Hannah Brown. She's just going to come and be like, hey, I'm Charity. Like, what's going on? Let's talk about stuff. Instead, now they have this Aaron B thing. Yeah. Now she's got some juice.
Charity played the exact role that we've seen Gabby and Rachel play, actually.
Yeah. Honestly, I think this is low. This is the low bar for controversy. I feel like this is a standard. Like, I feel like half the people on the show did a sort of
100%.
Aaron B kind of thing.
100%.
Yeah, it's not fair. I'm coming to Aaron B's back for this.
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say something that is maybe controversial. Yeah. But I feel that the whole he broke up shortly before going on the show thing, I don't really think that's that big a deal.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to take it a step further. I think it's the gentlemanly thing to do. Because if you're in a relationship that has no legs, which I'm sure this was, I'm sure that Aaron B's not the kind of guy who meets the woman he's going to marry and is like, you know what, I'm going on TV. Yeah. Screw you. He's not that guy. I don't think he is.
I don't think he is
I don't think very few people are.
We've warmed up to
Maybe
AB.
Sean is, but nobody else. No, I'm just kidding, Sean. That's too much. But my point is that if you are dating a girl or a guy or anybody that you're like, this is fine, but I know I'm not going to be with this person forever. Why wouldn't you say, listen, I'm going to show I'm breaking up with you, but I don't want this to be a thing that you have to see. Like, I want to end this, be responsible, end this, and do my thing.
Yeah, I think to break up with someone to go on one of these shows is to have been looking for a catalyst to end the relationship anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Aaron B didn't want to go on the show and he's like, wow, this is a great way to break up with this girl.
Wow, we've really come around with AB.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we get our credits. This is basically Charity freaking out over a huge bug. It was a big bug.
It was a big bug, but they go to this too often.
Okay.
There's too many bug bloopers.
Credits. Okay.
Yeah, I want better. I don't want the bug bloopers anymore. I know they're all scared of bugs.
I think that for a bug blooper to make credits, it needs to like land on their face or something.
I agree. It has to be. It has to be a really intense bug experience.
Yeah. This being like at the base of her chair, I was like, no.
Yeah, her reaction was intense, but the situation wasn't.
I agree. It wasn't high stakes enough. Yeah. Okay, Andy, who wins your A game this week?
I'm going to give it to Blake.
Okay.
On both sides of the coin. Okay. I think the way he handled it with Jess was great. And I think the way he slow played that burning romance with Genevie was tremendous. Okay. I was into it.
So even though he said you can go first to Jess.
Okay. You can. A game is, even on a final report in school, you make one mistake, you can still get an A.
Yeah. I thought Tyler put moves on Jess pretty well in this episode. Even though he was being a betrayer.
Oh, you know what? As far as like real like player game, if you want to, because I've strayed from my really A game means you're a player.
Yeah.
but I've sort of tried to make it more wholesome. but you are absolutely right. Tyler wins a player game.
Oh, a player game.
He played. Oh, it was beautiful.
And somehow not looking bad.
No, he did. You're right. You are right.
This was scandalous. Yeah. Tyler was it was just, she's like friends, close enough friends with Mercedes where Mercedes was like touching her boob, talking about the lace on her bikini top. I mean,
this is a perfect Final Four. I like it.
Yeah.
This is like, going to like a final cage match.
Yeah. This is funny that's what it takes for us to be into Tyler.
Look, as I said, redemption.
What we want is to be intrigued and entertained. And Tyler delivered.
Stepped it up.
Yes. Okay. All right. Finally, Andy, who would we go for?
Okay. I'm still going for Jess.
I respect that.
But I've got a little eye for Genevie.
Oh.
Just a little.
I mean, it's between the two of them.
Yeah, but I'm sticking with Jess.
Okay.
I get bird in the hand, bird in the hand. Because I already, Jess is mine. We both know that.
Okay, no surprise here. I would still go for Blake.
All right.
He's been my consistent. I think this is the first time ever that I have never strayed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry.
That's great. Feeling good about this. Can't wait to meet him.
Okay, I think we can wrap there.
All right.
If you enjoyed what you heard today, you know what we will ask of you, and that is to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow us on Instagram and
TikTok.
Leave us Apple and
Spotify.
Podcast ratings and reviews. Tell your friends and generally do all the things you would do to support a podcast you enjoy. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Dear Shandy. Bye-bye.